Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk about a little rifle build I put together. I'll let you know kind of all the specs I've got done with it and a price list. It won't be to a dollar amount. It'll be close. You might be able to hunt it a little harder on the internet and get something cheaper, but just kind of a basic price list with it. But anyways, let's get it started. I've got a Howa 1500 short action chambered in 22-250. It's got a number 6 contour, so it's more closer to a bull barrel. I would say it's about 3/4 of an inch at the muzzle, maybe a little less. 24-inch barrel. I did purchase the barreled action separate, so that was what I started with and went from there. I have a Bell & Carlson Target Competition stock. It's got the adjustable cheek piece. This is a black and gray webbing, so it's a neat looking little stock. I like the way it turned out, but that ran around $400. I have a Legacy Sports bottom metal, and it's actually plastic. Very disappointed. I would recommend another company, another brand, something that will stay away from this plastic. I didn't realize it was plastic to begin with, but looking back at the price point, it should have been obvious. That ran around $50 plus the mag. I believe this mag was $25, somewhere in there. I put a Tally Picatinny rail on it. That was around $50. A set of Vortex rings, that was around $50. Kind of let you look. You can see the rail in here and the set of Vortex rings. I kind of wanted to stay mid-price range. A lot of people, they said you need to put a $200 set of rings on there. I figured if I'm not going to have to lap them and they're going to stay tight with Loctite, I don't really see the difference in that, but to each their own. I put a Athlon Argos BTR first focal plane 8-34 by 56 scope on here. It's got a lot of zoom. I mean, crazy amount. I'll be honest with you, 100 yards, if you put it on 34 power, much less anything over probably around 24, it starts getting a little blurry. The Mirage will pick up and not very fun. But once you stretch this thing out, 2, 3, 4, 500 yards, I mean, it gets nice. It does have a side parallax on this scope. It goes from 20 yards to 500, and then it'll step up to the infinity. Pretty much anything over 500, you just put it on that and leave it. But it has the exposed turret, so they're audible. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear that. Camera's a little bit far from this gun, but I'll get a picture of this illuminated reticle, one of these corners somewhere. It is in MOA, so I did not go with the mil. Kind of being the novice shooter that I am, I figured MOA, 1/4 inch, 1 MOA at 100 yards, that's 1.047, something like that, versus working in tenths pretty much with mil. Quarters easier to count than dimes, so that's why I went that route. Looking back, I might try something different, but for this setup, it worked. Next thing, I have a Seekins precision rail on the front end of this, so it does have a quick detach. You can just jerk that bipod off real quick. It does, if I can get that in there, you can put a normal sling on the front of that rail. And I kind of like that option in case I want to pack this gun around and don't use a bipod that day. I don't have to have it on there, and I can jerk it off real quick. And I still have a sling attachment up there in the front. Let's see here. I've stretched this gun out personally. 400 yards, pretty consistent. 500. The wind, it's going to play with you. That's going to be for sure with this 22-250. I mean, I could shoot obviously 10 shots and finally get it on something, but 400 seems to be kind of its limitations as far as accurate and staying on target. I believe shooting a 6-inch gong, whenever you dial in, you pretty much just point and shoot, and 400's about all it'll do. 300, just aim at the top of that gong and you're going to be hitting it all day. So I'm going to show you a little bit of groups I've got here. I was working on a hand load, and I'm pretty new to it. I guess worked up probably 4 different loads with this, and had a guy help me out to get started, and I've kind of been doing everything else on my own. But I went with Winchester 760 for my powder. I've got a 52 grain AMAX I'm shooting out of this, and I believe I've got 36.5 grains. So it's not a hot load, but I mean, it gets the job done. I'm gonna step up here in front of the camera and give you a look at these. So I went ahead and went with the 52 grain AMAX, seated at 2.0665. So that was enough jump to the lands that, you know, this gun really liked. That group was 0.421. Generally speaking, I'm around 0.8 for factory loaded ammunition, so I was happy with that. This gun will shoot sub MOA, as these can attest to. I believe I had 5 different loads worked up there. Anyways, also one thing I forgot, I have a bolt-on bolt handle on this gun. Not going to come out. One thing I don't like about that raisable cheek piece, they do not have a notched out spot here, so you cannot remove your bolt unless you take that off. But other than that, there's a look at this build. I hope you like it. Stay tuned. I'm going to be putting this up against my buddy. He's got a Savage Axis chambered in 22-250 as well. We're going to try and put a video together, stretching it out, you know, 300 or 400 yards, comparison test, let you know what you can do with around a you know, $1,400 build versus a $400 gun straight from, you know, Walmart. To each their own. Pretty much the only thing you're getting different is cosmetics, and I would say repeatability to some point. You know, a lot of people are gonna go either option. You know, they want a custom gun, do they want a factory gun they can buy for $400 and go do the same thing. I would say this is probably going to be a little bit more reliable, but I know there's people out there that are going to disagree. So yeah, we're hoping to get that video done. Obviously there's going to be 2 different shooters, but it'll be a good little test for y'all to see what you can do with either option. So y'all like and subscribe and come back and see us again. Thanks. Have a good one.